Tonight on News 5 Live, the United Democratic Party will picket the Belize Investment Summit despite a permit not being granted to hold a demonstration. An exclusive sit-down with former Colombian President Ivan Duque. News 5 goes one-on-one with the keynote speaker for the investment summit. A woman is killed in Cayo, and a challenge of the opposition leader's registration in Mesop is struck out. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the shark code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win. Local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Keycocker, San Pedro, and Belize City are just a click away with Caribbean Sprinter. Avoid delays by getting your tickets and boarding passes online at sprinter.bz, and welcome aboard.
How does investment services work? For example, Joe's Construction wants to expand its operations by purchasing new equipment and hiring additional staff. How can Joe's Construction get an investment loan? The answer: Investment Services appraises the loan application and focuses on two key areas: adequate collateral and repayability. Investment services will also consider how Belizeans and the economy will benefit from this new investment through job creation and business growth. The terms and conditions for Joe's construction loan will be based on the purpose and cash flow. After recommendation and approval, the loan is disbursed. SSB remains committed to proper management of the fund through prudent and responsible investments for the benefit of its beneficiaries, employers, and the Belizean economy. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
My name is Lindsay Rosales and I am going in Belize Adventist College. A past retired teacher from my community explained us that all the topics will be posted on Facebook in the hashtag Let's Talk Energy.
Our students were tutored and mentored by two past teachers in Caledonia, Miriam Alcocer and Carmela Barbosa.
I am a science major and this helped me because I am studying physics, and in physics there is a topic of electricity.
I asked Lindsay how she prepared. She said every evening I have evening classes and I go and study. That shows the motivation and drive of our children. This is the initiative that we would like to cultivate a culture for our students here at the Belize Adventist College. Work hard, be persistent, and it pays off.
I am proud of myself because sometimes I doubt of myself because I thought I couldn't do it, but now I feel happy, proud, and I know that my mom is proud of me.
I feel proud about my daughter that win the second of this challenge.
I'm happy BL ventured out in this initiative because our children then can broaden their knowledge and can be more conscientious of our energy and the usage and misuse of energy. And also it contributes to their household, it contributes to them financially. So we're happy that you all came up with this challenge.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, August 30th. I am Sabrina Daly. The 2023 Belize Investment Summit gets underway on Thursday morning in San Pedro. Businesses of all sizes, as well as entrepreneurs from across the region, will converge on the island of Ambergers Caye to participate in the two-day event being hosted by the Ministerial administration. But the conference comes at a time when there are serious concerns being raised by the opposition, including the state of crime and violence, the ever-increasing cost of living, as well as the sharp increase in fuel prices. Ahead of the summit, the United Democratic Party wrote to the Commissioner of Police seeking a permit to demonstrate outside of the venue. That request has been rejected by Compol Chester Williams. Nonetheless, the UDP says it will mobilize supporters to picket the event. We begin our newscast tonight with an interview with Chairman Michael Parafit.
We wrote, the party wrote to the police indicating that we wanted to demonstrate, and the response was officially that we can't do it, or that we can do it but not on the days. I mean, there's a voice note with the commissioner saying we can demonstrate on the days that you are not having the summit, which defeats the whole point. I mean, I'm not aware that there is a better time to protest or to show your feelings about the government. I mean, they protest at the United Nations, you know. They protest at G7 summits. They protest at Commonwealth gatherings. I don't know what's so special about this place or this group of people that they are beyond seeing a protest. They're supposed to be stone cold business people. They're accustomed to a few placards showing no favor for the government and for the area rep in Belize Rural South. So there was that denial, but of course there are other ways within the law where you can have your voices be heard and have it be just as effective as a demonstration, because you don't have to necessarily demonstrate, you can picket. And that is, last time I checked, the street that passed in front of where they're having the summit is a public road. Nobody owns the road, and you can't stop citizens from passing there. You cannot stop people under the Constitution from expressing their feelings or their thoughts on situations that have to do with current issues. So we leave all our options open.
According to Parafit, the Commissioner of Police did not offer a cause for turning down the request. The chairman of the United Democratic Party goes on to give several reasons why they will protest outside of the location where the summit is being held.
There was no reason given other than clearly the government, this government, is extremely thin-skinned and insecure. They want to be able to do whatever it is they want to do, and then nobody can say anything. They want to raise the price of gas to ridiculous levels, and nobody is to say anything. We have a situation with crime. Nobody is to say anything. We have a situation where they have borrowed since November 2020 $1 billion, and nobody is to say anything. You talk about decorum when it comes to the 11th Amendment, and then you see Ministers Paris and Ferguson, the situation they're in, but nobody is to say anything. You have a man getting 10 gun licenses in 17 months, and nobody is to say anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. Our response is that the people have a voice, and the people should be free to express themselves. We were not promoting violence. We wouldn't be promoting any type of behavior that would be breaking any laws. We have a voice. This is a democracy the last time I checked.
Late this evening, News 5 caught up with Commissioner Williams here in Belize City. When we spoke with him, the head of the Belize Police Department gave his reasons for rejecting the application for a permit to demonstrate. He also said the motion was not supported by UDP supporters in Belize Rural South.
I didn't say I didn't want them to protest in San Pedro. I simply said to them that if they want to protest, they can do it before or after the summit. Why go to protest at a summit that will have foreign guests, when in fact the reason for your protest, according to your letter, which I must say was unsigned, is that you are disgruntled with the manner in which the government handled the Andrew Pierce matter. The people who are here for the summit did not vote for Andrew Pierce, so why go and protest to them about Andrew Pierce? You do that to the San Pedro people who voted for him. So it would seem to me that the sole purpose of this demonstration is to embarrass the government and the country.
The UDP chairman saying that even though there was a rejection, it doesn't mean it won't happen.
Well, again, they're adamant about doing what they want to do. So if they go and protest despite not having a permit, then the law will take its course.
And you had mentioned that the UDP San Pedro branch was not in support of that protest?
Yes, the UDP San Pedro branch have said that they're not in support of it because the summit is actually a boost for them. They're in slow season right now, where tourism is concerned. So when you have over 600 foreign guests coming into the country, staying on San Pedro, that is boosting the economy. So why are you going to hamper something that is working for the people? So I could understand the rationale behind the San Pedro branch as to why they are not in support. And I would have wanted to think that good leaders would have yielded to such a wise consideration.
Opposition leader Shine Barrow is presently out of the country. He was in the United States recently, where he attended the 2023 Invest Fest in Atlanta, Georgia. From there, he made his way to the Caribbean island of Grenada, where he met with former Prime Minister Keith Mitchell. News 5 also spoke with Barrow from St. George, where he confirmed that his party will proceed with picketing the Belize Investment Summit.
It will be held. This is not an authoritarian regime. This is a democracy. And I believe that when you ask for a permit, it is just a matter of, to me, courtesy. It really is a matter of courtesy when you notify the police. Certainly, as Prime Minister under UDP government, we would have those laws amended to create greater freedoms and greater liberty, and to highlight and underline the liberties of all people to demonstrate, to protest the government. Even when we are in government, I can promise you that's what we will do, because this notion that the Commissioner of Police can pretend as if he's some authoritarian figure to decide what is a worthwhile protest and what is not, and what will be an embarrassment and what won't. He's an embarrassment. One of the people we want to protest is him.
Coming up, former president of Colombia in Belize for Investment Summit. We'll have more details when we come back.
Enjoy more of your favorite social media platforms with Digi's new prepaid social media plans. Experience social connectivity like never before. Choose from 3 amazing plans starting as low as $3.50. With up to 4 times more any use data and tons of social media data in each plan, you get more value for your money. Only with Digi can you enjoy unlimited social media access with the Social Pro plan. Prepaid mobile customers, it's time to be social. Like more, chat more, and post more. Dial star 700 pound to purchase, or purchase from your Digi wallet, or visit the DigiGo app. Try Digi's new social media data plans today. Digi, our national telecom.
The Belize Carnival Association presents the annual King and Queen competition. Come out and cheer for your favorite carnival band as they display their elaborate and decorative giant costumes for the 2023 carnival season. Mark the date, September 2nd, 2023 at the Belize Civic Center. Prejudging at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. for showtime. Come out and see who will take the title of King and Queen, Junior and Senior.
Has disgraced the government and the nation of Belize. Embassies and international friends of Belize are in shock. The integrity of the Brasilia administration is in tatters. Prime Minister, how do you intend to address these serious breaches of the Ministerial Code of Conduct in the Belize Constitution? Or is it that, privately, you have no problem with such behavior? Remember when you intervened to shortcut the system for the lady named Diani Chan to bring in flowers and bypass Baha?
I'm asking you as Prime Minister to please allow them to come in, and then we can deal with the facts afterwards.
You disciplined the public officer who insisted on following the rules.
I will be speaking with the Minister, so I'm not shying away from that, so no follow-up question.
Prime Minister, it was you who set the example. It was you who started this business of using ministerial power to assist favored people. A fish rots from the head down.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to the neighborhood. How are you?
I'm kind of okay. The thing is, I've been living here for the past 2 months now, and I haven't gotten the chance to transfer my telephone and transfer my cable. I have been so caught up and so busy dealing with the kids and unpacking and organizing that the time is not enough.
Really? There is one more thing that you need to add to that transfer list. Haven't you seen the ad from the Elections and Boundaries Department advising it's the transfer of electors period? July and August of each year are the only 2 months that you can do that?
Every year, July 1st to August 31st, registered persons can be transferred from one electoral division to another. The law states that after a registered person has resided in a new division for at least 2 months, the elector shall visit the Elections and Boundaries Registration Office in his or her new division and apply for a transfer. Electors are urged to provide true and accurate information, as it is an offense to give false information. Electors are encouraged to bring along their voter's identification card or any other picture identification, such as a passport, social security card, or a driver's license, along with a utility bill in the elector's name, which will assist us in the verification of your new address.
Since I'm here now and I'm in the transfer mood, I will go down to the Election and Boundaries Registration Office to apply to be transferred in my new division. And I must ensure that I have a say in who represent me in my new constituency in which I reside.
Do remember that electors are urged to give true and accurate information, for it is an offense to give false information.
Thanks for that, man.
This is a message from the Elections and Boundaries Department.
Calling all business owners in Belize. The second Belize Investment Summit 2023 is on its way. On August 30th to September 1st, 2023, join us at the Grand Caribe Belize in San Pedro for 3 days of networking, presentations, and high-level discussions with key local and international decision makers. Do you have a business plan or are trying to expand your business reach and you just need the right investor to make it happen? Then you need to attend the Belize Investment Summit 2023. Don't miss out on this chance to take your business to the next level. Register for the Belize Investment Summit today at www.investmentsummit.bz.
Belize is a small society. We have limited talent.
It seems that the ministers in Prime Minister Briceño's cabinet are indeed talented, but not in the way one would hope for good governance. Rather than striving for integrity and accountability, they show a talent for loose morals and abuse of office. From inappropriate messages to exploiting their offices for lewd, personal gains, these ministers display a talent for compromising public trust. The morally corrupt Briceño cabinet is betraying the people's trust. The people wanted a cabinet of decent ministers. Instead, what they got was a cabinet of whatless ministers.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
A News 5 Belize team is in San Pedro to cover the 2023 Belize Investment Summit. A day ahead of the start of the event, we sat down for an exclusive interview with former President of Colombia, Ivan Duque Marquez. The former president will be the guest speaker at tomorrow's opening ceremony. He is known globally for leading numerous conservation initiatives in green and blue spaces within his home and country across Latin America. President Duque also co-authored a book on the orange economy in 2013. Here is what he told us about what can be expected from his address.
As you know, I think Belize is a land of opportunity, of innovation and transformation. And I'm here to speak about the three colors that combined can be able to give Belize the dynamic for the future in economic, social, and also in investment terms. So we're talking about the orange economy, the creative economy, the innovative economy, the green economy, and the blue economy. Green and blue referring to all this beautiful land full of biodiversity, but also one of the most important coral reefs reserves around the world, and all these atolls that have this amazing linkage with nature. So if those three colors are combined, and Belize gets to provide more incentives to bring the film industry and also to make the cultural economy a big engine of social transformation, and you combine it with the blue bonds, the green finance, and at the same time you make Belize in the land of blue ecotourism in this hemisphere, what we will have is not only the doubling but maybe the tripling of GDP within the next decade or 15 years. So we're talking about that potential, and that's what I want to share with all the participants, but also sharing some of the lessons we had from the orange economy in Colombia, from the green taxonomy, from the 30 by 30 initiative that we achieved in 2022, and also the immense potential of protecting the coral reefs as one of the most interesting ways of mobilizing environmental philanthropy around the world to protect this treasure.
When asked how he intends to translate the importance of conservation to a group of business people and investors, the former Colombian leader spoke about the potential that exists in merging the blue, green, and orange economies in Belize. He noted that Belize is one of the few countries in the world that has immense potential in all three areas. Combined, says Duque, these three sectors present an even greater opportunity for employment and economic growth.
You have seen something very interesting in Belize, and it has to do primarily with the idea that Belize was successful issuing a blue bond, and it was able to get a great premium or a discount in the way they managed that very important initiative, and it was one of the largest in the world before Ecuador made the bond issuance regarding the Galapagos protected area. So today, that experience can also turn into something that is more practical, which is a real debt substitution vis-a-vis climate action regarding the protection of the coral reefs. Why? Because this is one of the treasures of atolls around the world. Belize has one of the most important coral reefs centers around the planet. And if we protect the coral reefs, we're giving a message that we're protecting areas that represent 45% of maritime life. And if we do it correctly, and we also demonstrate to the world that if we protect the coral reefs, we will also be capturing CO2. And if we show the world that when you have a protected coral reef versus those that are now being affected by trawling practices, practices that basically releases the same carbon dioxide on an annual basis that the air and space industry, we're going to be showing the world that if you protect the coral reefs in Belize, you can do it in a sustainable way by mobilizing capital. Now, financial instruments are important, and that's where you have ESG bonds, but also when you have a green taxonomy, and that's also when you have carbon credits, either blue or green. So that's part of the green and blue economy that, combined with the orange economy, can make ecotourism with culture, sea protection, and also biodiversity protection a great transformation of the Belizean economy looking for the decades ahead.
As we said, the former Colombian president co-authored a book on the orange economy in 2013. According to Duque, the orange sector played a critical role in Colombia's economic rebound following the COVID-19 pandemic. He told us why he believes Belize is poised to become a leader in the creative market within the region with the right investments and government incentives.
I come from a country like Colombia. People, when they think about Colombia, they think about coffee, right?
Yes, oof.
And we have very delicious, tasty coffee that I always recommend, obviously. But when you look at the cultural economy, the orange economy, it's larger than the coffee economy. The orange economy in Colombia is larger than mining, and it's larger than many commodities that we know of. Why? Because people acknowledge that when you look at heritage, museums, patrimony, heritage sites, and you combine it with the arts, with functional creations, and with media, that is almost 3.5% of our GDP and growing. But it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen just in a Sylvester way. It happens because when you combine the right incentives, and you tell, for example, the movie industry, come here, you'll get a rebate, and you start generating jobs within that economy, the value triggers immediately. That's why one of the fastest growing sectors in Colombia, and that was crucial in the economic recovery in a post-pandemic world, was the orange economy. And that's why, for example, with the incentives that we created, we passed from an average $20 million investment in the movies and series production to more than $300 million. So imagine if a country like Belize combines the heritage of these amazing sites with such a beautiful patrimony, of this amazing green that you have inland that can be beautiful for movie production, and then you combine it with this amazing coral reefs and this beautiful ocean sites and landscapes.
Yeah.
You can make this country one of the most interesting markets for movie production in Latin America.
As we reported, the 2023 Belize Investment Summit is being held in San Pedro, the hometown of Belize Rural South Area Representative Andre Perez. We understand that the embattled Minister of the Blue Economy was scheduled to sit as a panelist during a roundtable at the event. Earlier this month, amid the sex scandal involving the PUP politician, Perez sought and was granted a leave of absence. His hiatus from cabinet is indefinite, and in Perez's place, Prime Minister John Briceño has assumed his ministerial responsibilities. But a leave of absence is not nearly enough, says UDP Senator Michael Parafit. He is calling for Perez's resignation as an elected official.
A leave of absence is unacceptable. There are standards of behavior that we must demonstrate when we're in the National Assembly. And it is my personal belief that he should resign. He should resign, give the people of Belize Rural South a chance to pick someone else. He should be dismissed from cabinet if he doesn't resign. That is my current position. That was my position then. It is now, and I think it will be the right thing to do. It cannot just be that he gets a pass. It cannot just be that it slides. It cannot just be that, oh, it's business as usual. No. That was a serious situation, and I repeat, I have no concern in the personal sexual behavior of PUP ministers, but when you talk about the possibility of threat of death, sexual assault, rape, that is something that is serious. And I think that the member should remove himself from that. Doesn't behavior, doesn't decorum, doesn't concern for investors coming for things like that. The hypocrisy is glaring.
Similarly, there's also a situation involving the area rep for Stan Creek West, where it could be argued that he was engaged in conduct that's unbecoming of an elected official.
Well, especially, I don't know, there's talks about possibly the exchange of favors. I don't know, I'm not saying that because I have no evidence of that, but if that is the case, then similarly, he should resign. Similarly, he should be removed of cabinet.
The recent gang-related murder in Belize City, as well as the flood of illegal firearms into the country, remain an area of serious concern for the opposition. In maintaining its call for the removal of the Minister of Home Affairs, his Chief Executive Officer, and the Commissioner of Police, Party Chairman Michael Perifit says that the matter has only gotten worse, pointing to the number of firearm licenses that were issued to deceased businessman Ricardo Borja during a period of 17 months.
Since we've been calling for it, it hasn't gotten better. Since we've been calling for it, it has only gotten worse. And now we have not only a crime situation where too many guns in this town, we're learning that people who are being executed got 10 gun licenses in 17 months. I mean, there is a sense of lawlessness, and only those who have the means to get what they want can get what they want. We see robberies that are becoming more and more brazen. We see the demoralization of the police department that's just on another level low. And it doesn't seem like there's anything in sight that will change it, that will make it better. Sometimes, when you're in situations like this, you have to change leadership. And we knew it would get worse. We knew it would get better. We knew that Minister Musa and Kevin Arthurs are out of their tree. They're not make for this. They're not build for this. They're not qualify for this.
In the wake of Sunday night's execution of Oral Leslie, the Belize Police Department is bracing for reprisals. As a result, officers remain vigilant for any developments that will trigger a tit-for-tat between rival gangs in the Lake Independence community. News 5 spoke with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams about citizen security amid the ongoing tension.
Of course, we do believe that there is going to be retaliation, and we are doing what we can to avert it from happening. But again, you know that criminals will always find a way to go around the police and do what needs to be done. So we are watching anxiously to see what they're going to do. And as I've said before, they think they will do as what Judge Street and Southside did last month. Then they are going to get the same treatment that that crowd got.
Are these gang members under surveillance?
I'm not going to say that.
What can the citizens do? Because sometimes they'll shoot up out of like nowhere and somebody else could get shot.
Well, the citizens just need to ensure they look after their own personal safety, and at the end of the day, the police will do what we can to ensure the general safety of the population. But again, you also have a responsibility to look after your own personal safety.
After the break, police say 17-year-old girl chopped father in the head. We'll tell you about that. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Needs, from tiles to paints, electrical and plumbing supplies to power tools, lights and fans to kitchen appliances and faucets, gym equipment to household items. We have what you need. We also offer store-wide promotions for you, our customers, so you can enjoy deals and discounts all year long. To get more value for your purchase, take advantage of Benny's B-Bucks, which is free money. All you have to do is shop at any Benny's location or entity. Stop in at Benny's Home Center on Regent Street, Benny's Bargain Center on Freetown Road, Benny's Superstore 2.5 miles Philip Golson Highway, or Benny's Cayo 43 miles George Price Highway just outside Belmopan. Enjoy special offers, free delivery, and get rewarded with free money when you shop at Benny's today. Benny's, quality and savings.
When I was a student, ICB was there to protect me, ensuring my education and future. When I got my first car, ICB was there to protect me, providing excellent coverage and peace of mind on the road. When we moved into our first apartment, ICB was there to protect us, securing our belongings and giving us a sense of security. And when we got our first house, ICB was there for us, protecting our home and everything we've worked so hard for.
At every step of your life's journey, ICB is there for you. For more information, call 224-5328 or visit our nearest branch.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The behavior of Ministers Andre Perez and Rodwell Ferguson has disgraced the government and the nation of Belize. Embassies and international friends of Belize are in shock. The integrity of the Brisenia administration is in tatters. Prime Minister, how do you intend to address these serious breaches of the Ministerial Code of Conduct in the Belize Constitution? Or is it that, privately, you have no problem with such behavior? Remember when you intervened to shortcut the system for the lady named Diani Chan to bring in flowers and bypass Baha?
I'm asking you as Prime Minister to please allow them to come in, and then we can deal with the facts afterwards.
You disciplined the public officer who insisted on following the rules.
I will be speaking with the Minister, so I'm not shying away from that, so no follow-up question.
Prime Minister, it was you who set the example. It was you who started this business of using ministerial power to assist favored people. A fish rots from the head down.
The Belize Carnival Association presents the annual King and Queen competition. Come out and cheer for your favorite carnival band as they display their elaborate and decorative giant costumes for the 2023 carnival season. Mark the date, September 2nd, 2023 at the Belize Civic Center. Prejudging at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. for showtime. Come out and see who will take the title of King and Queen, Junior and Senior.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
They say, no wait for the band no day again for say it me good. So, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology in association with NICH and the National Celebrations Commission presents the Living Legend Concert honoring the Gil Harris 7 Band at 50. Friday, September 8, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. Live at the newly named Lord Rayburn Plaza behind the Memorial Park on Marine Parade. Missy B, Lord Rayburn, Coconut Boy, Stone Jam, Super G, and more will join the Gil Harris 7 Band to give you a memorable night and performance of all the Gil Harris classics and new hits. Hosted by DJ Dollar, Friday, September 8, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So mark it on your calendars for the Living Legend concert series as we pay tribute to the Gil Harris 7 Band at 50. Sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, the Honorable Francis Fonseca, Niche, and the National Celebrations Commission.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price was too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babes, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
Belize is a small society. We have limited talent.
It seems that the ministers in Prime Minister Briceño's cabinet are indeed talented, but not in the way one would hope for good governance. Rather than striving for integrity and accountability, they show a talent for loose morals and abuse of office. From inappropriate messages to exploiting their offices for lewd, personal gains, these ministers display a talent for compromising public trust. The morally corrupt Briceño cabinet is betraying the people's trust. The people wanted a cabinet of decent ministers. Instead, what they got was a cabinet of whatless ministers.
A woman was murdered inside her house in Cayo on Sunday night. Around 7:30 on Monday morning, police responded to Tres Puntas Road in San Ignacio town. There on the bed, they found the body of 52-year-old Danielle Paraton with cut wounds to the neck. A post-mortem examination conducted on Tuesday certified that she died of asphyxia caused by compression on the neck. In addition to the autopsy, a toxicology report is also pending. Reports are that Paraton's daughter left the residence and traveled to France, but whether her departure was before or after the murder is so far undetermined. News 5 will have more on the story on Thursday, that is.
Monday, police received a call of a apparent suicide in the San Ignacio area. The call came from a daughter who alleges that her mother had just committed suicide and that she was on her way to the airport. She and her mother are both of Canadian national. So we found the call very strange, and so we had notified the airport to stop the woman if she would arrive there. That is the daughter, while police went and made checks at the home. Upon arrival, the body of the mother was found in the preliminary state of decomposition. It was taken to the morgue on Boom Road, where a postmortem was conducted yesterday, and the postmortem revealed that the mother had some broken ribs and some cuts on the wrist. According to the pathologist, the injuries are consistent not with suicide, but rather more with homicide, and so the daughter is being interviewed by the police to ascertain exactly what may have transpired with her mother.
Is she being treated as a suspect?
Yes, she is being treated as a murder suspect. We found it very strange that your mother would have committed suicide and at the same time you are going on a plane to leave the country. It just was not adding up, no.
So is it that investigators do not believe her story?
Yes, we don't believe her story.
Do investigators have in mind or considering an accomplice?
At this time, no.
Was there any sort of like altercation or signs of altercation in the bedroom or in the house?
No.
Police are investigating a chopping incident that has left a father hospitalized and his 17-year-old daughter the subject of that investigation. It happened on Tuesday afternoon in St. Paul's Bank, Belize District. Police say that when they arrived at the residence, they saw 67-year-old Antonio Fermin with a huge cut wound to his head. Fermin reported that he and his daughter were embroiled in a heated argument, and she chopped him. Fermin is listed in a stable condition at the KHMH, and the minor faces charges pending the outcome of an investigation. It fell under the radar after it was passed into law, but an attorney has brought to the fore a concern over new penalties one faces if they are charged with trafficking marijuana in Belize. Today, Dickie Bradley pointed out that the penalties, including prison time, as well as the fines and bail for someone who is caught with 60 grams of marijuana, have all been increased exponentially, to the point, in his view, of being ridiculous.
Not a one have heard that they pass on law for all drugs, including weed. When you go to the Supreme Court for being a drug trafficker, the fine is $1 million. Nobody know that. First point. Not even the media. They were not told ahead of time, they were not told when they do it. Nobody knows that the government sneaked through an amendment to the Misuse of Drugs Act, where the courts in this country, now staffed entirely by foreigners in the Supreme Court, can charge up to $1 million. This is a very, very serious matter. You know why? We're not business with cocaine and anything. They could charge $50 million and hopefully spend the money on the south side. But when it comes to weed, they really do we want low and chance weed, because once it is on the law, trust me, a case will come where somebody won't get it. That's why they pass a law to punish people $1 million if you're the trafficking of weed. If you have over 60 grams of marijuana in this country, you are a drug trafficker by law. The fine, the penalty is $10,000 cash and 3 years of jail. And if you can't pay the $10,000 by the time the court tell you that, now additional 3 years for your sentence. That used to be the minimum. That has also changed. A progressive government would have said, we will make an amendment to the law where it's not 60 grams that makes somebody a drug trafficker. Start at 500 grams. Make with people, they say they want to make money off of the thing, make with people and sell the weed. 60 grams and you go in jail for 3 years and pay $10,000, and then change the two of them to 20 years and $20,000 without tell the people of Belize.
On Friday, we reported that Mesopotamia area representative and opposition leader Shyam Barrow was being criticized by operatives in the People's United Party regarding the address he is registered to in that constituency. Barrow is registered to 80 King Street along with 11 other individuals who are signed up at the same address. Earlier today, an attempt was made in the lower courts by former PUP standard bearer Dorla Vaughan and Gary Ayuso to challenge Barrow's legitimacy as a voter in that division. Barrow, who is out of the country, told News 5 that it's simply political mischief.
It's absolute political mischief. It's ridiculous, totally ridiculous. By two failed PUP candidates, Gary Ayuso, who didn't even get a chance to run as a candidate. He was such a failure, and Dorla Vaughan, who lost terribly to the great Honorable Michael Finnegan. So nothing but political mischief. I have leased that residence for a few years. The utilities are all in my name, and none of them go to sleep with me every night and know my whereabouts to talk. So it's absolutely ridiculous, just a distraction tactic, and the court saw that and struck it out. Just wanted to clarify that when they talk about the people that were registered I think it was 10 people. That's no safe house, Isani. I could have understood if 10 people went to register there during the months of August and July. Then that would be dubious, but that is absolutely not what happened. You had a total of 11 people that had been registered there since 2018. I know one family that lived there before I took over the property, before I leased the property, where it was like 7 of them. It's a 3-bedroom, and so that's unfortunately in society. Not everybody has wealth. Not everybody is doing good enough, and family needs to find space for family.
This document shows the signature of one of the complainants, Dorla Vaughn, who states that Barrow resides at number 13 St. Charles Street in the Caribbean Shores area, rather than at number 80 King Street in the Mesopotamia division, where he is elected and where he also votes. But today, Vaughn and the other complainant was a no-show at the court, and attorney Dickie Bradley explained the reason why the matter was struck out. But just in the event they did appear in the court to make their case, Barrow, although out of the country, had his own supporters who were ready to defend his King Street address. Here's Bradley's perspective on the matter.
There were 2 objectors to the Honorable Moses Michael Levi Barrow, aka Shine, that he ought not to be on the voters list in the Mesop division, and that has failed. It's dead because the 2 voters in the constituency who raised the objection have failed to come to the court to say this is the evidence we have. A citizen of Belize is standing here, came to the court, prepared to say to the court, 1, I know the leader of the opposition, I know the address, I know the house, I know the inside of the house, and I know he's an occupant at that house because I live there. The Chief Magistrate, as revising officer, has struck it out upon being satisfied that the registering office followed all the legal requirements. And let me just make this one point very clear. It is not the registering officer who has raised the objection. In other words, it is not the public officers in elections office who has said, Shine Barrow does not qualify, he has not met the requirements. The requirements are not hard, you're over. In fact, he's already a registered voter. He's just moving from one constituency to another. He's probably also making history because then, I'm not sure about Honorable Esquivel, but Shine Barrow is basically now living in the constituency that he represents. That is not a usual matter. In fact, it's not usual for anybody from the outside for one to live that's outside. So he can boast that I live with the people I represent.
Bradley says that in law, it is difficult to prove to a court that someone does not live at a particular address because of the very nature of what the word reside can be defined as. While Barrow's voters showed up to court to defend him had the need arise, they did not wish to speak with the media. Bradley explained that a person's residence can be determined by a number of ways.
It's a hard thing for anybody to try to prove that a voter does not live an address. Once the owner of the house comes, once you rent a house and the person you rented from, the landlord or landlady come and say, I rented to so and such a person. Who will tell I not rented to them? Once somebody living in a house say, yeah man, I get up the morning, I see him brush your teeth on the veranda. Who will say no, they don't say that? So the matter is laid to rest. We are dealing with the court, and the court not dealing show here is so bad mind, good mind, politics and so. The court deal in facts. And in fact, one of the hard things about voters listen, Belize is who can come and say that I don't live at my sweetheart. I mean, this is not personal. Like that somebody not lived in his sweetheart house. Who could consider? The sweetheart could say. If another family member is there, but how an outsider could say you don't live there? It means that I pay the water bill, I pay the light bill, I rent the place. Honorable Shine has a contract where he is in fact the lease here at the place, you know. Let's start. The point is that under the law in Belize, nothing has come to say or to prove the Honorable Shine Borough does not live at that address.
When we return, Miss Universe visits Belize for a day.
Not only do we have the most reliable ferry service between San Pedro, Keycocker, and Belize City, we also have a pretty awesome crew. Check us out at sprinter.bz.
My name is Lindsay Rosales and I am going in Belize Adventist College. A past retired teacher from my community explained us that all the topics will be posted on Facebook in the hashtag Let's Talk Energy.
Our students were tutored and mentored by two past teachers in Caledonia, Miriam Alcocer and Carmela Barbosa.
I am a science major and this helped me because I am studying physics and in physics there is a topic of electricity.
I asked Lindsay how she prepared. She said every evening I have evening classes and I go and study. You know, that shows the motivation and drive of our children. This is the initiative that we would like to cultivate a culture for our students here at the Belize Adventist College. Work hard, be persistent, and it pays off.
I am proud of myself because sometimes I doubt of myself because I thought I couldn't do it, but now I feel happy, proud, and I know that my mom is proud of me.
I feel proud about my daughter that win the second of this challenge.
I'm happy BL ventured out in this initiative because our children then can broaden their knowledge and can be more conscientious of our energy and the usage and misuse of energy. And also it contributes to their household, it contributes to them financially. So we're happy that you all came up with this challenge.
The behavior of Ministers Andrea Perez and Rodwell Ferguson has disgraced the government and the nation of Belize. Embassies and international friends of Belize are in shock. The integrity of the Brasilia administration is in tatters. Prime Minister, how do you intend to address these serious breaches of the Ministerial Code of Conduct in the Belize Constitution? Or is it that, privately, you have no problem with such behavior? Remember when you intervened to shortcut the system for the lady named Diani Chan to bring in flowers and bypass Baha?
I'm asking you as Prime Minister to please allow them to come in and then we can deal with the facts afterwards.
You disciplined the public officer who insisted on following the rules.
I will be speaking with the Minister, so I'm not shying away from that, so no follow-up question.
Prime Minister, it was you who set the example. It was you who started this business of using ministerial power to assist favored people. A fish rots from the head down.
My name is Denise Mala. I had an aunt, one of my mom's sister, that we believe died from cancer. She was relatively young. And my sister passed from cervical cancer. I have been doing annual checkups. Recently, after one of the annual checkups, I noticed, a change in one of my breasts. I went for the next checkup earlier and I brought it to the attention of my treating doctor. He looked at it and he said he didn't like what he was seeing. A biopsy was requested and then the biopsy came back positive. When you first find out these things, you think about a lot of things. And then eventually it comes around to the finance. I recalled this insurance, critical illness insurance that I had that I was paying. And that was probably the first time I read that contract. I read it in its entirety. And then I recognized that, you know, this is going to assist me. I called the office, spoke with my agent. He was very helpful, guided me through what I needed to do. So I went through the process and I communicated with him a couple of times, and he just informed me what was happening. In a pretty short period of time, I was paid my insurance. This plan that I had been paying for many years, in my time of need, that came through for me. Having that insurance helped me significantly. It is absolutely something that everyone should consider, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Belize is a small society. We have limited talent.
It seems that the ministers in Prime Minister Briceño's cabinet are indeed talented, but not in the way one would hope for good governance. Rather than striving for integrity and accountability, they show a talent for loose morals and abuse of office. From inappropriate messages to exploiting their offices for lewd, personal gains, these ministers display a talent for compromising public trust. The morally corrupt Briceño cabinet is betraying the people's trust. The people wanted a cabinet of decent ministers. Instead, what they got was a cabinet of whatless ministers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Francis Renault Concert Series is back and presents the Electric 80s. Join us at the Bliss Center for 2 nights of colorful performances, starting on Friday, September 1st at 8 p.m. and also Saturday, September 2nd at 8 p.m. Come out as vibrant voices whisk you away, back in time with celebrated 80s hits. Tickets are available at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts and are $25 for general admission, $40 reserved, and $50 premium. For more information on how to get your tickets, contact 600-7453. Join us for the fun. Join us for the flair. Join us on September 1st and 2nd for an electric event of 80s musical magic. Sponsored by BTV, NCC, Travelers Liquors, Puma, Full-Tech Systems, and the Angelus Press Limited. Partners with BEL, Smart, Niche, and PUC.
As of today, the cost of fuel has gone up by over $1 at the pump. And there was no announcement made by the government of Belize about the impending price hike. The opposition has been quite vocal about the exorbitant cost of fuel, despite the cost per barrel of oil remaining stable on the world market.
If I were them, I wouldn't want to announce it either, because they're ashamed. This is the same Prime Minister who, when he was the leader of the opposition, said that the only reason the prices were going up under the UDP was because we supposedly had no vision and we didn't know what we were doing. He is doing worse than what he claimed was bad back then. He admitted that over half of the cost of the price of fuel is from government taxes. So then reduce it, and then you'll have a manageable amount for people to pay. It is a sign that they lack vision. They don't know how to grow the economy, much less even maintain it. They only can rely on revenue that comes from easy taxation, like fuel. It's such easy revenue for them to collect because they have no other way to grow the tax base, to make sure that the amount of people working and producing can produce more income for the country. On top of that, they have borrowed $1 billion. So all they can do, their financial policy, their government policy is borrow and raise the price of fuel on goods and on goods and services.
The reigning Miss Universe, American-born 30-year-old Arbany Gabriel and her sister queens from Aruba, Kiara Arens and El Salvador, Alejandra Guajardo, were in Belize today as part of a tour of the region on board the Carnival Vista cruise line. Arbany, who hails from Houston, boarded the cruise ship in Galveston, Texas, and traveled to Honduras, then Belize, before moving on to Cozumel, Mexico tomorrow. This is the first time the beauty queens have met since they have competed in the 71st Miss Universe pageant in New Orleans, Louisiana last year. Miss Belize Universe Ashley Lightburn joined her fellow beauty queens on a tour of Altonha today. Before they departed on that adventure, the master of ceremonies for last year's pageant in Belize, Dale McDougall, was on hand to meet the beauty queens and to chat with Arbany. She said she was looking forward to her trip to the Maya Temple and was hoping to return to do a cave tubing adventure.
It was such a warm welcome from my sister Ashley. Good to see her because we haven't seen each other since January, so it's been some time. It's nice to be here. The weather is amazing.
I love that you love the weather.
I love it. I love the heat. I love the tropical and the wind, everything.
Belize encompasses all of that, so I'm glad you're enjoying so far.
So Arbany, tell us a little bit about your agenda here in Belize today.
Well, we have just a day here because we're on a cruise, but as far as I know, we're going to the ruins, which I have been to Belize before, but I didn't get to see the ruins and learn more about the history, so I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully some Belize food.
Yes, you have to get the Belize food. I always tell people that the best thing about Belize, apart from our culture and our warmth, is our food.
Ooh, I would love to try.
Well, I am our beauty ambassador, so and I am her Miss Universe sister, so I will be accompanying her. We're going to Altonha. I will be sharing my Belizean knowledge with her, with the rest of the Miss Universe girls that are here with us, and we'll be having a great Belizean time.
Ooh.
I'm here to showcase Belize as best as I can.
What's the one thing you want to do while you're here, Arbany?
I would love to, besides the ruins, which we get to do, I would love to do the cave tubing. I've seen photos and videos of that. That looks really fun. Maybe next time.
I will definitely teach her some Creole. She can't come to Belize and not talk a little bit of Creole, so we'll be working on her Creole so she gets confident in it.
Okay, I would love to learn.
Right.
First thing, I don't want to go back.
That is your first phrase.
What is it?
I don't want to go back.
I don't want to leave it. Oh, I don't want to go back.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.